I'm a 𝒂💏💄💄💄. I'm a shamanic energy healing practitioner working with children, teens, parents, and families. Doing both shamanic work, guiding groups, and mainly guiding parents in any way I can on how to work with their spiritually aware children, teens, and often on how to embrace themselves. I'm the author of The Promise We Made, 3 Universal Soul Promises we made to our children. And in our very, very short time today, I want to get a lot done. And our focus is how can I, as a mom, how can you, as a mom, help your child and support their soul's journey? When we talk about soul's journey, it's a really big topic. The first assumption I'm assuming, and it's not something that is easy to assume, but it is something I realized and understand, is that I am on a soul journey. And if I am on a soul journey, what does that mean for my daughters? They're on a soul journey too. We often embrace spiritual ideas, work on ourselves, do a lot of work to evolve, and we forget that our children are on a journey just like we are, and is being on a journey just like we are. It's a shared journey, and we walk together. A little bit about my own journey in order to share the one insight I'm choosing to share in this short time that we have together. When my daughters were babies, my first was a little over 3, and my twin girls, all girls, identical twins, were 13 months. I was involved in a fatal car crash, and at the same time had a near-death experience. For those not familiar with the term, a near-death experience is a broad term sharing or conceptualizing many transcendent experience from out-of-body experiences of seeing yourself from above and all the way up to traveling to other dimensions, to where we come from and where we come back from. In my near-death experience, I was immediately out of my body. My body was barely surviving, and immediately floating in luminous, loving light. And what happened for me there, a lot of things happened, but for our shared conversation, was that I remembered that I was love. I had a broken body, couldn't do anything much later. For months as I was recovering, but at those moments of the near-death experience, I was remembering that I was love, that my cells were love. That's the material I am made of, and that I am on a journey. And I was being taught a lot of things, which I share in my book, The Promise We Made, 3 Universal Promises We Made to Our Children. And I need a longer time to share that story. When I came back, and after recovering and integrating that understanding that I am love, and I am on a journey, and I am more than my physical, I'm also energy and a spiritual being, was not something that it was easy for me to grasp and understand. And the reason it wasn't easy, because I didn't have that language. And I was always intuitive, I always felt things, but I didn't have the language and the understanding and the theory. And also I was not aware of who I can talk to about this. So it took me a long time to integrate, and then to share my story, and then to have that understanding that, wait, if I'm on a journey, what does that mean about the others around me? If I am love, what does that mean about everyone around me? Everyone is love, and everyone is on a journey. And as adults, we often forget that this is true for our children as well. So they're dependent, they're little ones, and my niece just started walking, and it's amazing to see how he's walking. We see it in videos, they live far away. But he's dependent, he's small, he's cute, he's barely speaking yet, but he's also a huge, beautiful, luminous soul walking in that physical little dependent body. And when we realize that, that changes our whole dance with our children, because as soon as we see our children, not just as our dependent, sometimes needy, sometimes challenging for us because they bring different elements to their journey, when we see them as more, not even seeing their soul, not knowing their soul journey, not knowing what contracts they're being, just understanding an awareness that they are more just like we are, something opens up. And the journey and the hierarchy within it changes and becomes more mutual and respectful, because it means that we are guides. Maybe we have more time on earth and we have the opportunity and knowledge and experience to guide them on how to live here. But anything else, anything beyond, is a shared journey. We are teachers and they are students. They are teachers and they are students. And the more kids you have around you, and sometimes you don't have your own biological kids and you're a teacher. You work with kids in this or another setting, but you are there for them at a lighthouse, reflecting that they should keep their luminosity and be who they are. We brought a very specific question to this talk in this amazing festival that Michelle has organized. Thank you, Michelle. How can you support your child's soul's journey? And this is a hard question, because how can I support my daughter's soul's journey when I don't know what I planned for myself? There is a reason why we keep this a secret. But the younger the ones coming to us, the less it is a secret for them. They are aware of many elements, the posts and signs they put for their journey. And their need to stay aligned to their truths is much greater than ours. We choose our parents. We choose our parents for their personal agreements, their personalities, the conditions that they will create so that we would achieve here what we want to achieve. We also choose our parents knowing that they will create the conditions that we need, not just to achieve our personal mission here and bring our service. We also choose them knowing that they will help us weave in our physical, how to live on earth, together with our spiritual essence. When we stay true to our essence, we can walk life whole. Our kids choose us for our potential. So if I am to do my best to support my daughter's soul's journey, I need to walk my own soul's journey. And that's the key. And it seems simple, but it's not simple, because most of us carry a lot of energetic inheritance. We carry wounds from this life and from other lifetimes. And when we choose to heal, it's a continuous process. It's a often very long process, and maybe we even started before we had kids, but it continues. And as our kids come, they push our buttons so that we would show up and heal what needs to be healed. Everything that we heal, we take from them, because when we heal something, we heal at least 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. Often it's much beyond. Not everything they bring is related to us, and not everything that we heal in our lineages and in ourselves and in our soul journey will be relevant for them. But everything that we heal means that they don't have, if it is related to them, it is part of what they brought to this lifetime. They don't have to deal with it and work with it. Healing can be done like with shamans like myself, energy healers like Kyra is going to talk in the next hour. There's so many amazing practitioners all around the world that you can work with ancestral stuff and heal your past. There are a lot of tools that you can work with yourself, and you can find many of them also on my website and in other places. The point is, show up and heal. That's one piece that we do. The goal in healing is to become whole. And when I talk about whole energetically, I mean that our energy is flowing and we don't have any missing parts, and we don't have energy that is not ours. It means that our soul is walking itself, energy, physical, all layers weaved in. When we do that, we show up and become our own potential. When I walk my essence, I become the mom that my daughters chose to come to. In our personal journey, this took us, me and together with my whole nuclear family and much beyond in my community and friends and my daughter's friends, into an amazingly rewarding journey. Because when one person heals without even sharing it or talking about it, others feel that invitation to do their own work, and they don't even talk about it. They just go and do their work with the tools they have, with practitioners that can help them. When children heal, they ripple their luminosity, because all children, and us as well, we want to shine. We want to shine. We want to stand tall in our essence. And shining does not mean to be arrogant. It's just being who we are and sharing our gifts with the world, because we're full, because our energy is flowing. In shamanic terms, we often talk about a concept of soul retrieval. That means that something, when traumatic events happen, very short explanation, when traumatic events happen in the shamanic language, that means a piece of us that is innocent, naive, good, goes away. It understands that it's really hard for it to be in a body. And for the little ones coming to us in the last few years and forward, coming into a body is very challenging, because they are very, very evolved. So when a piece of us floods and another piece and another piece, so we can imagine it as a cheese with holes. It's not exactly like that, or deactivated areas of our energy. And that means we can't walk whole, and we cannot walk our essence. When we as moms take responsibility and do what we need to heal and collect our energy and call it in back, and you can just say, I'm calling in back any energies that comes to me, it comes back. What can come back, and what needs more integration and processing will require more integration and processes. When we become whole, we reflect that wholeness again to our children. No words expressed, just energetic communication that invites back the healing, and invites all of us to walk as our essence in human form. We came here for a human experience. Our soul journey is about our human experience, but it is also about evolving and healing and letting go of anything that stands in our way, so that we will show up, each of us with the beauty and the gifts, and the children being so many beautiful gifts into our world. In parallel to healing, another aspect, and it's a question I love, and I feel it needs to be weaved in today, finding what your essence is about. Now, it's a tough journey to find out what your essence is about, and we often invite each other to think of what made us happy as kids, what makes us happy as now. And I really like the question, and I want to put it here. What makes you feel alive? And when we do, or be, or just experience something that makes us feel alive, and that can be just looking at a sunset, or enjoying fall leaves, or sitting with our four-legged and hugging them. When we feel alive, we're in our essence. When we are aligned to who we are, walking who we are walking our essence. And we become the potential. And when we become the potential, we become what our children chose. That means that every act we will do, every choice we will make together with them as parents, depending on our situation, will be aligned to those choices that they made in their own blueprint when they chose us. So I really hope this idea is clear. I try to weave in a lot of aspects to the understanding of the soul journey, and the understanding that for us to support our children, as we do not know our own plan, and we do not know their plan, and most likely they don't know their plan, although they probably know more than we knew at their age, the only way for us to show up is to become who we are, to do everything we can to heal, to embrace our energies, to feel alive, and then show up. And when we do that, even if we're just at the beginning of the process, our children catch up on that energetically, and they can stay true to who they are. And I think this is something that all moms, all parents, anybody working with children wants for the children. We want them to stay aligned to who they are, and shine in the world, because we need them to shine, and we need them to bring our gifts. And as I promised, if you read the description, I want to read you a story from my book. Each chapter in my book starts with the mystical healing stories, and I think that healing stories carry different energies than just talking. So I invite you to just listen, close your eyes. If you are catching up and listening later and you're on a speed volume, maybe it's time to bring it back to normal volume. This is a story, one of my favorite in the book, and it is from the 3rd chapter. Many years ago, flowing in the river of time, there was a human. He was tall and fairly skinny. His long hair and long beard were turning gray. On his back, he carried a faded blue backpack. His facial expression was dull and vague. He was walking through a field of grain. His gaze was always forward, never down at his feet, never to his sides, or up to the blue sky above. Forward, directly to the far horizon, before his eyes. On the day of our story, he was walking until dusk, when the setting sun dazzled him, and he had no choice but to stop for a moment. He stood there in the middle of the grain field, grain growing green fresh all around. For the first time in his long life, he diverted his gaze down, uncomfortably noticing that he was walking in the same place, and that under his feet the green, fresh grains were all crushed. He lowered his head, saddened. All he could ask himself was, "How can I get out of here?" He looked for the field's nearest edge, thinking he would make his most gigantic leaps, thinking he would try to step on the stems of the growing green grain as little as possible. And so he leaped, and leaped, and leaped. But the field of growing, fresh grain stayed just as large. The leaps did not take him any closer to the edge of the field, to clear ground. The human stood still, crying for help, not knowing what to do next. His legs started to shake slightly, deepening their hold within the earth below. He felt his legs pulled down into the ground, deep, deep down. The earth was warm, inviting, smelling fresh and new, and it opened and gently guided him within until he found himself standing in a big, beautiful cave. And in the cave there was a stream of pure water, and on the other side of the stream, children were playing. "What are you doing here?" the children looked at him and asked. He did not know the answer for their question. So he shared his story of walking, his story of walking in the fields of grain, green, growing, and fresh, his story of finding that he had been walking in the same place and trying to find his way out without crushing any more stems. Leaping, 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 his story of the earth warm and inviting, opening and guiding him into this beautiful cave. The children wondered about the aim of his visit. Then a small child, young in his years, came quietly forward and said, "For me you came. For me you came." The human and the child looked one into the eyes of the other, drowning in the pure reflection of the stream until they became one. "Truly, for you I came, and I did not even know you were lost." "It is my time to go now," said the child, hugging all of his friends. Then he jumped over the stream, directly into the human's heart. The human, surprised, found he expanded. His heart widened. He hugged the small child who had just jumped in. An opening emerged at one end of the cave, and light came in from afar. The human waved goodbye to the playing children, expressing his deep gratitude for their hospitality, and walked through a tunnel in the cave towards the light. He climbed some rocks, then descended again until he reached the cave's opening. The child said to him, "You must protect me. I have not seen the light of the sun for many long years." The human asked, "How come? You are made of ready and glowing shiny light." "I've been hiding," said the child. "I've been hiding from the voice of a shout, from insecurity and lack of trust. I've been hiding from ignorance and the destructive power of words. I've been hiding from the uncertainty of knowing whether we will have a piece of bread for breakfast or not. I've been hiding from our mother's illness, from our father's hard days. The human was silent for a moment. "You are safe now," he promised. He covered them both with a scarf of love and took a few steps outside into a shaded area. "Would you like to look around?" the human asked the child within him. The child opened his eyes and glanced outside. His heart expanded from the beauty of the world. Flowers and green, birds and butterflies, prosperity and abundance, giving, sharing, and a reaching hand, purity and innocence. His heart was whole. Their heart was whole. Flowing in the river of times there is a human. He is tall and fairly skinny. His long hair and long beard turning gray. On his back he carries a faded blue backpack, a smile on his face. The man is walking, slowly walking, not minding that he does not know where. He makes sure not to harm any stems of grain or others on his way, to stop where he can reach out a hand. Sometimes he sleeps under the branches of an old tree, hearing the tree's stories through his heart. Sometimes he stops in a village and joins its people in their work. And when he is not sure of the way, when he finds himself at a crossroad, he stops. He takes some deep breaths. He sits as long as it takes, reaching his roots deep into the earth and his branches up into the sky. And then he asks the child of light, who is him himself, who returned to him within the cave, where to turn now. Sometimes this new road is paved, abundant with fruit growing by its side, and good clear water flowing in the streams along it. Sometimes it is a steep path, inviting a climb on a high mountain. He is grateful for the paved one. He is grateful for the steep one. He is walking his path, and evermore he is not walking it alone. He himself, his essence, his light, is walking with him. Together, they always know the way. I will let the energy of the story simmer within you, possibly invite soul parts and healing on your behalf. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. You have all the details in the description of this short live talk. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, everyone. And may blessing come your way.